of the thatch. Besides that, the last thing is, dude. I'm Rich.
And I'm Josh.
Make sure your Walkman is at full battery because we're diving into our dad tapes.
What's going on, guys? Thanks for listening to tape number 30 of the Dad Tapes. Let's get rolling. What are we drinking tonight?
Tonight, we have our last, brews from the our bros out there in Cali. Tonight, we'll be drinking some Mac Drizzle Diamond. It's a double IPA, 8.3% ABV, and it's from Altamont Beer Works from Livermore, California. I am excited for this. Dude, I grew up listening to Mac Dre, even though, rest in peace, the man passed away in 2004. I love Typhy music, man. Mac Dre and listening to him is what got me into it. It's a culture. He is a culture, man. I am so pumped for this beer. Let's dive in, bro. You good? That smells tasty.
It smells citrusy. I could fuck with that.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Dude, they're 3 for 3, bro.
They are 3 for 3.
Holy shit.
That's a good beer. It's like every beer, like the first beer was really good. The Pliny, whoa, that was really good. Whoa. And this is like really good. It got better every single time. Oh, I don't know, man. I'm all about it. But moving forward, man, how's your week been?
Pretty good, man. Very eventful this week.
Eventful?
Yeah.
Well, explain. What type of events you got going on here?
Sunday went apple picking with the girlfriend.
Okay.
Oh,
so it's official. Girlfriend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We putting labels on things now. All right.
Yeah, we went apple picking.
Is it Facebook official?
No. She doesn't
she doesn't then it's not official yet. She's not your girlfriend. Don't you know that's how it works?
Yeah, I know.
The dating
this
life
day and age.
It's mostly for like our parents' age at this point, bro. Fucking Facebook. I'm not a big fan of it. I haven't been a fan of Facebook since never. Maybe high school.
I don't know, man. I'm getting more bored of it more and more every day. It's the same.
Then why you still sit on it, bro?
Huh?
You still sit on it all the time, bro.
Yeah, because I'm addicted to the.
Because you're addicted, and it's a bad habit. We'll get into that later.
I'm addicted to the videos, bro.
What else has been new, bro? So you have an unofficial official girlfriend.
Yeah.
So you went apple picking. That's cute. That's a good little date.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a good time, Apple picking. We did picked some sunflowers. That was cool.
Oh, that's so cute.
But
what else, bro?
So I also got. So I don't know if I talked about it on the show or not, but I found a new hunting spot at a vineyard in a couple towns. It's about 30 minutes away, but it's at a vineyard. A guy owns, and it's farmland, so it can be hunted like year round. I got the okay from the state on that.
There you go.
So that's clear. Just got a bunch of paperwork to fill out. But
sounds about right.
And then last night,
yo, you were high off of adrenaline. Man. I could hear the shakiness in your voice.
You could hear the shakiness in my voice. You could probably hear my heart pounding out of my chest through the microphone.
You'd be surprised.
Last night I just had a really, really successful hunt. The deer that I've been my target buck that I've been watching.
The buck that has been haunting you on your cam for months now.
Yeah.
You got that big boy.
He came in and let's just say
he came out, man. He came out, and it was not on his own will. That's for sure. Well, that's good, man.
Yeah, it's just it's been a real positive week. Get Addison tomorrow, so it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good.
You guys
weekend.
Got any plans?
I got a wedding to go to this weekend.
Okay,
so
she coming?
Yeah. I was specifically told that she has to be one of my plus ones. To
So
the wedding.
really, she was the one invited, and you're just her plus one.
Yeah, right.
Really?
But other than that, man, it was pretty good. It was quick.
Good.
You know.
Good.
How about
That's
you?
good.
How was your week?
It's all in all, it's been a slow week. I will say that Dex had a party for a kid at school. His first party that he attended, and the kid, he's got his, like, you could tell, how when parties happen, and you have to, like, they have to invite everybody in the classroom. It's either everybody or nobody.
Yeah.
Just to remain inclusive. You could tell, like, the friend groups would, and these are just a bunch of they're kindergartners.
Yeah.
But you can still tell they all kind of congregate in their own friend groups.
Own little
And Dex
cliques.
got this one little kid. His name is Chevy. Like Chevy Chase. But Chevy,
Oh,
yeah,
no shit.
it's pretty cool. He's so energetic, just like Dex.
Oh, boy.
But anyway, the party was at Chuck E. Cheese's.
Oh, shit.
But, dude, I got to be honest. That was my first time ever going to Chuck E. Cheese's. And it's nothing like what, like, I was expecting it to be like. Remember how, like, McDonald's used to have, like, those playpens and the
play
slides
place.
and the tunnels and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
No, there's none of that. There's no ball pits. There's
They don't
nothing
have that anymore?
It's like an immense arcade. Honestly, it's like a
Oh,
Dave
you
and
know-
Buster's just for kids.
You know what? I think they got rid of that when COVID happened. to be
That
honest with
was
you.
my assumption too.
Because they used to have that.
It makes sense because you really can't sanitize that stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, in hindsight, yeah, that crap is so
It's
dirty,
shit.
man. So maybe COVID helped some things out here, but yeah, that was fun. My first time ever going, and then this time of year, got my last seed down, laying on the grass. Dethatched that bad boy.
Did you wear your New Balances?
No, I did not. I had my Adidas on, but dethatched that bad boy. Got that thing cut. It's got some patches in it. Looks a little bit yellow, but I don't know if you've ever dethatched before.
Nope.
What. So thatch is all the dead grass that layers underneath of the live grass.
Okay.
So you dethatch it to allow the soil to be rich with water, sunlight, vitamin D, as well as when you want to put seed down, it's nice, good soil for the seed to lay on, and rather than it have to root underneath of the thatch. Besides that, the last thing is, dude, Jill is killing the podcast battles, bro.
Really?
Our fantasy league. She is killing it, man. She's
Nice.
in second place right now. But her team is lethal, bro. Her team is lethal. And I'm playing Danny this week. So, Danny, I'm coming for you, bro. I'm ready for that dub in my bag. I'll see you past this weekend, and we'll see what's good. But yeah, man, it's a good slow winding down week, good gentle week. I'll put it
Good.
that way.
Good.
So. It's always this time for us to be aware, right?
Oh, I'm well aware.
Good. How are we going to be aware, dads, today?
Tonight, a reading from the Daily Dad by Ryan Holiday. January 10th. Your living is the teaching. Example is not the main thing in influencing others. It is the only thing. Albert Schweitzer. Socrates' students said of their teacher that for all the genius he possessed, Plato and Aristotle and all the other sages who learned from him derived more benefit from his character than his words. So it was for Zeno and Cleanthes, the two earliest Stoic philosophers. Cleanthes could not have been the express image of Zeno. Seneca wrote, "If we had merely heard his lectures, he shared in his life, saw into his hidden purposes, and watched him to see whether he lived according to his own rules. Is there a better description, a better bar to set for a parent than this? If you want to teach your kids, it's not going to be with words. It's not going to be with lectures. It's going to be through showing them that you live according to the rules you set and the values you are trying to tell them are important."
It's clear that a lot of the teaching by examples are consisting of elements that you're not even aware you're teaching, but more so just living. and you're just being watched. You're being observed. Children are the observer. So it really is. I think it's driving home. This month is clearly driving home the point that we just need to be aware that we're always being watched.
Yeah.
We just have to give more importance to that fact. I mean, we are aware about it, but are we really aware of the depth of that?
Because like we always say, kids see everything, you know?
As aware dads, we need to be aware of that. So tonight, our topic tonight is something we all have. A habit that we really don't want our children to pick up, yet we allow ourselves to overindulge in these habits. It could be smoking, drinking. It could be paying too much attention to screens and things that you shouldn't be paying attention to. However, we need to be aware of the impact our own guilty pleasures have on our children and those consequences of them. Join us tonight as we explore some of those bad habits and how they are learned habits for our children, whether we intend to pass them down or not.
It is time for our Data-Dump. Coveted and hidden by corporate America, habit science is making its own awareness to the public over the last decade. However, there is still largely an underwhelming amount of individuals not aware of their habits and the potential consequences of those habits onto behaviors and the influence onto others. According to an article which references a study completed in 2022, finds the study concludes we as adults and parents attribute our behaviors to inner states rather than habits. For example, we attribute drinking coffee to cure fatigue and lethargy. However, this study found that the intake of coffee had no indicated levels of elevated fatigue in those moments, indicating the behavior is a habit. Ultimately, that study found that participants underemphasized habits and overvalued inner states like mood and fatigue. With an array of habits having negative impacts on ourselves and negatively influencing our children, from a menial as nail biting to as large as overindulging in alcohol, it's not a wonder we as a society do not give credit to the bad habits' influence over our own state of being. Let's focus on behavioral health for a moment and the impacts of bad habits on behavioral health. The American Medical Association describes it as mental health and substance abuse disorders like life stressors and crises and stress-related physical symptoms. Behavioral health care refers to the prevention, diagnosis, and treatment of those conditions. There are two types of bad habits, physical and mental. Bad physical habits can disrupt your entire life on a day-to-day basis, from losing sleep to being impaired, to even not eating well, can influence your life directly and influence your children indirectly by observation and repeating. Bad mental health habits can be just as detrimental, ranging from binging video games, compulsively using social media, to the likes of substance dependencies. The risks these bad habits pose are just as detrimental as the physical. If you think your child isn't watching, you binge your social media, then you're terribly mistaken. And that was our Data-Dump.
There was a podcast that I had listened to. Typically, the only podcasts I religiously listened to would be like The Art of Manliness. And it was an author of a book that was a guest speaker on a show. And I don't remember the name of it. I don't remember the author. I don't remember anything besides just some of the context of the show, of which he states, I mean, we're all aware of it, but the continuation that social media has, or not even social media, blue light in general.
Oh, yeah. On
the extended activity it keeps your brain in, especially when you do it before bed.
Yep.
You know, I know you, if I look at my screen time, and I've gotten into discussions with my wife about this because she loves to be accusatory of it, but when we pull out the freaking facts, bro, it's like, where's your argument now? So I know you're pretty much on your phone a lot too. So without going and looking at your screen time usage and all that such, how frequently do you look at your phone even before bed? Because before you answer, to preface this, I know that the research that this author had provided and he had done on his own, you need ample time, at least 60 minutes at minimum, 90 minutes before you go to bed without any blue light exposure.
Well, you see, that's a crazy one because I'm one of those guys that falls asleep with the TV on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, I put whatever the hell it's called, the timer on the TV, so it goes off. It eventually goes off. But it's like white noise to me. It helps me fall asleep. I'll actually sit there and watch it. I'll fall asleep to watching it. You know what I mean? I don't know why. It's just a comfort thing for me. But I will admit, I do have a vice of just laying there in bed on TikTok for God knows how long.
I know you do, bro. I get notifications in the morning time from you sometimes.
Josh sent you 30 TikToks.
30? That's a slow morning.
But I honestly don't have a full-on time of what I could tell you, but it's at least an hour that I'm on my phone.
See, man, and it hurts you. And it's almost as if like we justify the hurt, and it's clearly not physical hurt. You know, you're tired, you're grumpy, you're irritable. It's mostly emotional, a byproduct of that. I mean, not to defend you nor beat you up, but I certainly have an issue recently, I'd say. And I used to have this when I was younger too, but with the TV, going to bed with the TV on.
Yeah.
And I find that most of the time for me, it's just me trying to extend my awake time when it's just me or just Jill and I. Because, my whole day is filled with interactions with kids, or I'm always being needed or being tugged in different directions for whatever freaking purpose when it comes down to kids. Do they even need a purpose?
You're a ragamuffin.
Yeah. So, I find that's just like me trying to continue that time. And that's why I do try to fill my time by myself in the daytimes, especially now it's a lot easier with Declan going to school and Bridget having nap time still. Thank God. I hope that nap time lasts until she's like 20.
You better hope she ain't here when she's 20.
It's my baby girl. Anyway, that I use that time or waking up earlier in the mornings, or using that time just when they go to bed and focusing on time for myself as well as the time for me and my wife.
Yeah.
And that's important because it allows me to not have to, it doesn't force me to find that time later at night, just put it on the TV just to continue just 10, 15 extra more minutes just to stay awake.
Yeah.
So, it's so important to not have those bad habits. It's very important to not have those bad habits, bro. All right?
I know.
Don't be sitting on your phone reading TikTok until 1 a.m. like I know you do sometimes.
Well, sometimes.
Bro. Sometimes, exactly.
Sometimes, yeah.
I know.
But the majority of the time when you see the ones that are at like 1 a.m., it's I just got done playing Xbox with everybody and now I'm laying in bed
exactly.
watching TikTok. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I don't want you to think I'm not beating you up here. You did bite your nails, and I know for years it was a habit you tried to get over.
Yeah.
But recently you did.
I'm still trying. It's hard. I'm not nearly doing as doing it as bad as I was.
Okay. Still, it's an improvement.
Yeah.
How does it make you feel knowing that, you could go and chew your nails all day, at least once an hour? And now, even if you cut that back down to just a few times a day, that is so much, that's strides from where you were. How does that make you feel as an individual? And because clearly that's also a bad habit that I'm sure Addie got to witness, whether you were aware of it or not, because it was habit. You do it out of habit, not even realizing it.
Yeah, you do it subconsciously, and you don't even like you said, you don't even realize that you're doing it. Because even at times where I'd be just sitting there watching TV or, I don't know, literally anything, driving, I'd be doing it and not even realize it.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm at the point where it's I recognize myself doing it, and I try to stop from doing it because I know at that time I'm like, okay, you know, I wanted to stop doing this. I'm trying to better myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to better myself as well as it's a little bit better for my hygiene. You know,
Yeah.
That shit's dirty. I mean, it really is. I'm not gonna
Especially
lie.
the work that you're in, yeah.
But
Or when you pick your butthole.
but it's not something that's easily stopped, like, at all, because you do that shit for so long, and like you were talking about, just subconsciously doing it. You don't know you're doing it, and then you go and get to the point where you actually stop doing it, and you're like, holy shit, like,
Yeah.
what up, dude? Like, my nails look good. Like, damn, okay. I can scratch my back and all kinds of shit. So, as I've mentioned in a few episodes before, I've gotten my, like, I'm starting to actually really get my anxiety and my depression under control.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that's incorporated with certain habits like that, because it's like I don't know how to explain it.
It removes your mental from the space that you're in.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it's a satisfaction that
It
brings
takes
you...
It takes your attention off of like something that's bothering
Exactly.
you.
It's a
or
distraction,
a
ultimately.
focus or whatever, you know. And with me getting a hold of that, that's another thing that I've been able to be like, oh shit, I need to stop doing this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm doing better for myself or whatever, and I'm not having these issues anymore. Why am I doing this still?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a force of habit.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
You have to you have to get to the point where you have to be comfortable with yourself. Yeah, you might have to remove yourself from the situation,
Mm-hmm.
but once you get to the point where you're just in a sense, I'm going to say clean, or away from that situation or away from that habit.
Yeah.
After a certain amount of time, can you like not? And I'm not saying with everything, but there are some instances that you can like re-involve yourself into people.
Yeah,
that
reintegrate
have,
yourself
you know,
into
like
people,
who are
places, and things.
smokers, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, certain situations you shouldn't, but you know,
Yeah.
like, you know, you just stop smoking meth and you're clean, and then you go and insert yourself and hang out with people that smoke fucking meth, you know.
But sounds like you have a little bit of brush of experience with that from an ex.
Anyway, but nah, man. I mean, it's those vices are not fucking fun.
No, and it's yeah. And I think when you say vices, it has such a negative connotation to it that you know, people think like you say vices. Oh my God, what are you snorting cocaine or you know like Jesus man, like slow down, bro. But
I say vices mainly because it's something that you're doing that a lot of people frown upon.
Mm-hmm.
For one, and some people might even frown upon themselves for doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why I call it a vice, because it's something that you have a strong connection with, for one,
Mm-hmm.
and two, you have a tough time trying to kick the habit.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason why I call it a vice.
Well, it's interesting that you said that, you know, people might feel shame for doing that. One of the things that I was reading when I was creating the data dump was I read when it comes to both physical and mental bad habits, what that'll do, especially if it's a bad habit, physical bad habit that is really detrimental. I mean, one physical bad habit is just being sedentary. You know, coming home and just sitting on the couch. It's a bad habit, but it's not going to be a bad habit of what you feel shame about.
Yeah.
But like alcoholism could be one thing. Substance addictions could be something else.
Yeah.
Well, I guess alcohol is a substance addiction. Other things like that. It also creates a lot of shame and guilt, and it's a dog chasing its own tail situation.
Yeah.
You know, you're just in that circle.
Yep.
You know, you start at the top, you end up at the bottom. That's where you feel that way, and then you find yourself back at the top of the circle again, only doing the same behaviors and habits.
Yeah.
And it is a cycle, and it's tough to break that cycle. And even having that awareness, you know, not only need to have that awareness, but there's so much more that has to go involved into that those resources you or the mechanisms you try to use to get out of there.
Yeah.
Just having just awareness alone is not going to help you.
No.
That's the first step.
Yeah.
And I mean, you've been through it at least with your nails situation.
Yeah.
And you're smoking, because I know you've quit smoking and then you started
Multiple
again and
times,
you smoked
yeah.
again, quit. And, it sounds like a never ending story.
Life
but
come full circle. Like,
yeah. So, I mean, you could speak first-handedly on at least those types of bad habits. And I have my bad habits.
Yeah.
Like I said, sometimes I'll have a beer when I probably shouldn't have, or sometimes I'll keep the TV on too late, or sometimes I'll catch myself on social media when I should be more so paying attention to my surroundings with my kids or something like that. And
yeah, and that's a good point. I'm gonna cut you off for a second because like it just kind of popped in my head. With me being the smoker that I was,
mm-hmm.
I would have dinner and I would step out. I'd have my cigarette,
mm-hmm.
and Addie would come to the door, and she'd stand there and she'd wait for me to come inside. And it's like, well, shit, like she's watching me do this. Like I don't want her to see me. Like I know they're gonna see you doing it, but certain things shouldn't be seen because like you don't want to be that negative influence on your kids.
So you having those bad habits for your sake, and I'll answer too. How did those bad habits affect your life? And I'll give you some time to think about that. So I know how it affects my life is, especially being a stay-at-home parent, I find that doing those bad habits, specifically, like I can, I've said it before, my screen time, comparatively speaking, Josh, is really low, really low for a guy that works all day. Anyway, I ain't gonna touch that one.
Sorry,
anyway, Blair, if you're listening, you need to make sure you stay
on
on
my
top.
phone all the time. I swear to God. I swear. Swear.
It's yeah, I'll find myself on social media when I shouldn't be, and I just use it as a form of escapism. Yeah. And having that awareness and what really brought my attention to it was, just going through TikTok and seeing sometimes those TikToks where it's like you're on dad talk or mom talk or whatever TikTok realm you're on, and it's like, you should be putting your phone down instead of scrolling. I'm like, you're right.
Yeah, it's like the ones where you're laying in bed and
yeah.
It's like the motivational guys, like the go to the fucking gym, or the, yeah, or we'll say, what are you doing? Why are you
Papa
on
Swolio,
your phone?
bro.
Yeah, Papa Swolio. Yeah.
But anyway,
go to fucking sleep.
What are you doing right now? Yeah. I love that guy. He's so motivational. But
what did you eat?
yeah, exactly. But the way I can say I've seen it affect even just the way that the kids would interact with me or with Jill. I've seen it to where it's like the kids would come over and try to talk, and if they're trying to talk to me, maybe the first time they don't say something. The first time I don't say something, and just because it just didn't even register in my mind because I'm just so distracted.
Yeah.
So it's like I see that's going to affect them. It's like, okay, maybe I'm not going to go to dad next time.
Yeah.
Or maybe, I'll just play by myself.
Yeah.
But it's like that's time you should be spending with them.
Yeah.
And again, look, I will sit here and preach that all day, but I also want to preach that you also need time for yourself.
Yeah.
It's I could see where in those moments it affects my life as a parent and as a dad, and technically, I guess you could say as my job.
Yeah.
So where can you see those bad habits affecting your life, your career, your parenthood?
Well, for one, the smoking thing, money.
Okay.
Big time.
Okay. I get that.
That shit is a lot. I mean, especially because they're at like $10 a pack now.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're a pack-a-day smoker, that's $70 a week.
Jesus.
You're spending on cigarettes. Two, definitely, like you were saying with the kids. You're sitting there on your phone and they ask you a question. It doesn't even fucking register.
No.
Because you're like sucked into the tube.
Yeah.
Like, whether it's the tube, the phone, the game, whatever, And it's like, and then they ask you again and you're like, what?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You got to have them repeat it a third time.
I know.
and it's like, oh shit, what am I doing?
Yeah,
Like, I need to
exactly.
stop what I'm
It's a
fucking
very
doing.
jarring moment.
Yeah, and I just see that's the one thing with me is like I don't want my kid to see me have addictive personalities because, like I had explained earlier, that could be a negative influence on them.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely. Dude.
I'm not shitting on anybody, but like a lot of the people that were in my family smoked.
Yeah.
My dad smoked. My mom's boyfriend smoked. You know, your parents smoked. You know,
Yeah.
It's something that I saw for so long that I just thought, oh, it's okay. You know,
I mean,
I started smoking at the age of fucking 13.
To kind of take that point from what you said, as you just said, my parents smoked. My parents weren't they were smokers. My dad to this day smokes more, probably still more than a pack a day of cigarettes.
Yeah.
Pack of cigarettes a day. So I grew up with that all around me too.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, my sister smokes. So, she's in a very similar situation to where you are, and you guys are the majority. I am the minority. And for whatever reason, I don't know. I don't know why, but I go back to at least a bad habit. And I think that every individual, you could sit here and say that you don't want to have these bad habits, exemplified or put out there for your daughter.
Yeah.
You're not a perfect person, though, bro.
No.
None of us are. We're going to have these bad habits. But where I'm getting to is it's also going to be upon her to, as she ages and progresses,
Be the responsible
a 13, yeah, but a 13-year-old is not going to be able to say this is a great idea or this is a bad idea. They might think it's a good idea, they may think it's a bad idea, but they're just not mature enough to be able to distinguish those true good or bad ideas or habits or anything like that. So it kind of which brings us to our resolution. Recent researches and studies have discovered profound evidence of the influence context has on habits and those behaviors from those habits. For example, like we discussed, being in a situation where you're around smokers or, just getting done a plate of dinner, it's going to trigger you. So, for an example, most wouldn't eat stale, unsalted, unbuttered popcorn on a whim as a snack. Ugh. I absolutely would because I love popcorn. It's actually not bad for you.
I understand it's not bad for you, but you know what? I want that cholesterol-filled crap.
But if you plant yourself in a dark movie theater and you put that bowl of unsalted, unbuttered popcorn in front of you, just changing and altering that perspective, it's going to lose that distaste for that popcorn, and it's going to more or less be you're still going to eat it, aren't you?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Well, then maybe you're the anomaly off of this study. But regardless, it becomes a little bit more palatable because it's just the act of eating popcorn, not necessarily how it tastes or what it is or anything like that. It's just a setting. The meaning to take away from this is being aware of the situations you put yourself in, but developing that awareness of said situations is the hardest element. It's on us as dads and as men to develop that awareness so we don't enable and pass down these bad habits to our children and put them in similar situations we may find ourselves in with our own habits. Which, speaking of situations, what's up for the platter tonight, bro?
Tonight's platter, readings from FML. First one's Untitled by Anonymous back in 2013 in the United States. It says, "Today I witnessed a large woman pee on a pregnancy test in the middle of Walmart parking lot, clean herself off, then wander around with the test hanging out of her mouth, waiting for her result. Where in the name of Christ do these people come from?" FML.
Yeah, that person's life sucks.
Yeah, dude,
that person's
definitely.
life sucks, man.
Next one, Well Traveled by Loserville back in May of 2023 in Australia. "Today we were flying to Australia from New York with an 8-hour layover in New Zealand. We didn't know where the hotel was, so we called a taxi. The hotel was literally across from where the taxi picked us up. He did a full loop of the airport, dropped the software, he picked us up, and charged $50 due to airport tax. FML.
You deserve that one, bro.
Yeah.
Just use your phone, man.
Oh, shit.
Pay less in fees to access your phone line in a off country than you would for the airport tax. Jesus.
And the last one, backfired by telemistake. This FML is back in 2009, but it's good stuff in the United States. Today, a telemarketer called for my dad. Jokingly, I said, I haven't seen him for like 5 days. I'm starting to get worried. In my best childlike voice. Apparently, the telemarketer called Child Protective Services. I'm 20, FML. You deserved it, bro.
Yeah, you deserve that one. And shout out to that telemarketer, bro. You know what? Not many of them will call CPS on somebody like that. So shout out to whomever's looking out for people, man. You hit us up, actually.
Yeah, we
if you're listening, hit us
media.
up on our social media. You know, you can find us at facebook.com/The Dad Tapes. You can find our Instagram at The Dad Tapes Podcast. We're on X, or previously known as Twitter, at The Dad Tapes. And we are on TikTok at Dad Tapes Podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review of the show wherever you listen to podcasts. It truly helps.
You know, I got pretty surprised today. I went to go do a couple deliveries this morning at work, and every tape in the box was rewound.
Really?
Yeah. Every single tape.
Wow.
So they're actually listening. We're starting to listen, at least. Because I know some of them probably still ain't fucking doing
it. There's still some of those guys out there.
Please, guys, don't forget to rewind the tape before boxing it back up.
Don't be that guy. You're not that guy, pal.
You're not that guy, pal. You're not that
guy. I'm out, guys.
Peace.